Platinum Pro Wrestling here in South Florida in Pompano Beach at the American Legion Post 142. And if you're gonna have a show in South Florida, you have to have South Florida's own Rocky Radley, wrestler extraordinaire. Rocky, tell us what's been going on, what things you've been doing.
Lots been going on, actually. I've been wrestling every single weekend up and down Florida. I actually just made my debut for Queens of Combat about a month ago in North Carolina, so that was great. You know, just wrestling as much as possible, just trying to get out there.
You've been doing your thing, wrestling, and you need to do that. You've won several titles. Tell us, what titles have you won?
Well, I've had the Platinum Pro Wrestling Women's title, the ICW Women's title. I've also had, I have had the WXW Women's title a couple times, and the FEW Women's title, so a few.
You've been making your mark, and you mentioned a couple places, and I want to talk Queens of Combat.
Yeah.
Because what was that like? This is something in North Carolina that's really caught on. What was it like for you to go up there? Who did you get to work? What was the experience like?
Oh, it was amazing. That locker room of girls is fantastic. It's always so good to be in the company of uplifting women, and that's exactly what they have over at Queens of Combat. I had the opportunity to wrestle Faye Jackson for the first time, which was great. It was a great match, and then I was also involved in a Stone Cold 6-woman pack challenge at the end of the show, and that was a blast. It was such a good time. I definitely will be back at Queens of Combat for sure.
You've also worked for Rise, and that's another group of
Yeah.
women's wrestling group really has also caught on. What's it been like for you to work with the group Rise?
Oh my God, Rise is just, it's the best company I think I've ever worked for. It's so inspiring, and there's so much talent on that roster. And, you know, of course, when I did wrestle at Rise, it was Shimmer Weekend as well, so I got to be around all those girls, and it was just a phenomenal experience getting to be in Chris Wolf's match at Rise. That was great. She's an amazing talent, and it was so nice to be on her team. And it's just, I'm still a little like on cloud nine from that, because it was such a good weekend, and I definitely want to be back at Rise.
Tell us some of the people that have helped you along the way in your training and your wrestling.
Oh man, well, I started with Soulman Alex G down here in South Florida, and he's just, you know, he taught me my foundation. He took me under his wing. Afa the Wild Samoan has been a huge influence on me, and he has helped me so much in my career. And currently, I train with Gangrel, who is a phenomenal trainer, and I couldn't be more grateful and happy to learn from him. So.
Soulman LG has trained so many, done incredible work. Then you have Afa with WXW, so you've had that experience, and now Gangrel in South Florida, Gangrel's wrestling Asylum.
Yes.
So just right there, that just gives you so much to your resume.
So much
when
knowledge.
You're just going to go and say, okay, I want to work here, I'm going to try to work here, and they're asking you, oh, who trained you, who did you work for? How has that helped open doors for you?
Those are some great names to have, you know, and yeah, I mean, I think that they see that I put in the work, and I think that, you know, who trains you is a big part of where you're going to go in your journey, and whether you're trained properly from the start. And I've just been so lucky and so grateful to have 3 amazing trainers in my life who I've taken something from each of them individually, and it's helped to mold me and shape me, and they're great people to have to lean on and get any advice from.
What do you like about pro wrestling?
What kind of question is that? Everything. I mean, it's weird because I was never a particularly shy kid growing up. You know, I danced, and I was a competitive cheerleader, so I was, you know, used to performing. But this is a different kind of performing. I mean, the athleticism and that part of it, I caught on to that pretty quickly. But the showmanship of it, and you know, bringing a character to life and really telling a story in the ring, it took a little bit longer, but that's probably my favorite part now, because I mean, at the end of the day, like, there are some phenomenal athletes in this world who can do things that I wish I could do with my body, but the people I find myself gravitating to the most when I watch wrestling are people that can really tell a story. Like, they don't have to do too much to tell too much, you know? So that's probably my favorite part about pro wrestling, is being able to really connect with the crowd and feel that connection back.
Who are some of the ones then that you watch and you're like, whoa?
Oh man, I was I love Bret Hart, love him. Ric Flair, you know, I loved the Hardy Boys and Lita growing up. Oh my God, me and my brother were always Matt and Jeff in the backyard having matches on the trampoline, and it was just.
Who was Matt? Who was Jeff?
I was always Jeff, always. I would never let him be Jeff, because I could do all the flippy stuff from cheerleading. He couldn't do any of that. But yeah, I mean, there's just been so many, like Shawn Michaels, Triple H. I loved Edge growing up, I grew up in the Attitude Era, so I had to go back and watch a lot of the 80s stuff and to really learn the history of pro wrestling, because I started when it was like white hot, and so I have influences from everywhere, and I try to pull from different people.
Ring attire. Ring attire is so important. And what is there any inspiration behind the ring attire for you, or is it just put it together?
I'm a little bit of a nerd. I love Harry Potter. Love Harry Potter. And when I was designing new gear, I just really wanted to bring something to the ring with me that I hold dear. And I mean, it's not, I don't have Harry Potter symbols all over. It's not very obvious, but I did put the lightning bolts here and got my Gryffindor colors on, because as a kid, I really loved to read, and Harry Potter was the first book series as a child that I really got into, and it took me to another place. It made me forget about anything I had going on in life and like the magic of it. And I think that otherworldly kind of place that it took me to is also what pro wrestling did. It took me out of my mind and put me into what somebody else has going on and being invested in that. So the two kind of connect for me. So that's why I have my gear the way I do.
So many groups that are around. It's a really good time to be in wrestling. Also a good time to be in women's wrestling.
Yeah,
and you have AEW starting up. You have Ring of Honor, and just so many companies around. You mentioned Shimmer and Queens of Combat and Rise, and of course NXT and WWE. For you, where do you see yourself? What opportunities would you like?
Right now, honestly, I would love to go over to Japan. That is one of my bucket lists and one of my goals for sure. I would love to get over there. I feel like that's one of those places that you really can hone your craft, and you're just and it's such a different wrestling fan base over there. The matches, when you watch them, the matches are so much more intense, I feel like sometimes, and it's just, I know so many people have come out of Japan and have had a phenomenal career from going through there. And so right now, I'm trying to take things step by step. I would love to obviously make it to WWE or AEW or Ring of Honor, NXT, any of those companies. But right now, I think Japan is definitely what I have my eyes set on.
That's what makes Rocky Radley the wrestler extraordinary that she is, because she's not looking way down ahead. She's looking for that next step, what to do next, and how to get from step to step to step. So Rocky, give us your social media. Thank you so much. Tell us if fans want to check out Rocky Radley.
Yeah, you can follow me. My Instagram is just Rocky Radley, as well as my Twitter.
And you know what? Let's see, we're going to end it, but you know what? I'm going to throw, not a curveball, because something that's near to dear to my heart, you've been involved in, which is FSCW.
Oh my God, yeah.
Fantasy Super Cosplay Wrestling. It's just such a phenomenal thing. What it is actual pro wrestlers will do cosplay and wrestle. Yeah. So for you, who have you been, and what do you like about FSCW?
Okay, FSCW, first of all, is phenomenal. It's so much fun. As a kind of a nerd myself, being at a Comic-Con or SuperCon or anything like that to wrestle is great. But currently I've been wrestling as Yang Zhao Long from the anime Ruby, which is great. Check it out if you haven't seen it. But I'm having a little bit of a character change now. I will be debuting.
Can we say it, or is it?
Yeah, it's out there already.
Right.
It's out there already.
Good.
Don't worry. No, I will be wrestling as Lara Croft from Tomb Raider.
Yes.
Yeah, which I'm super excited
that
about.
fits great for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
All right, Rocky, thank you so much.
Thank you.